In the last episode, I arrived in Lyon from Paris on a low-cost high-speed train. This time, we'll be discovering more of Lyon and see what makes this city unique. But before we start the exploration, I did encounter, some issues.
Morning everyone. It really pissed me off because all of a sudden my bank for some reason just fucked up. My credit card wouldn't work all of a sudden, which I give them a notice. It's been working pretty well, and their app somehow locked me out, and then they asked me to give them a call. So I give them a call and they say it's call collect, and I phoned them. They said the wait time is 5 minutes, and I ended up waiting for 30, and the moment they pick up the phone and nobody was talking, and I was trying to say hello, and then they hung up. So wasted me 30 minutes and wasted me 17 euros of phone credits, and eventually didn't go anywhere. Yeah, so what a day it has been. And of course I'm trying to book a train for my next trip, and I couldn't even do it.
If you have been a long-time audience of our channel, you know that whenever I'm traveling, shit does happen.
But anyways, let's carry on. Ooh, this is another one of the Trois Bouchons.
Trois Bouchons are hidden corridors you can find inside the buildings of Old Lyon. They were used by silk manufacturers to quickly transport the finished products to the merchants around Lyon back in the days. Trois Bouchons, which provided cover shelter and accessibility for wheeled carts, are ideal for the hilly landscape of Old Lyon in terms of transporting fragile products like silk. Today, Lyon is still famous for its silk products. Oh well, I'm too broke to be able to afford these. Plus, my credit card doesn't even work anymore. Okay, time to head back to the hotel and get the backup credit card. Once I got the card and bought the train ticket for the next day en route, I went back to the cathedral where I decided to make my way back. This Gothic-style cathedral was built back in the 14th century and is one of the oldest structures in Lyon. From there, we have entered the heart of the old city. Overall, the old town of Lyon appears to be more of an authentic residential area rather than a typical popular tourist destination like I imagined. The bouchons scattered around reminded me that I need to book a table for another maybe lesser known place to simply compare how each bouchon is different from one another. We had visited one featured in Anthony Bourdain's show in the last episode, which was good but quite salty. For dinner, why don't we find our own bouchon and see how it compares to Anthony Bourdain's? At one point, the old town of Lyon became a complete residential neighborhood, which gave away that we might have left the historic Renaissance-era old town altogether.
Remember, the 5th of November.
Once crossing the Saône River again, we're back in modern Lyon. Well, relatively speaking. One of the first things I saw was a giant mural depicting the life in Lyon. If you pay attention, you might realize that the residents are actually famous people from Lyon. Some of their names might ring a bell, like Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, the author of Le Petit Prince, the Little Prince. But I don't think I recognized any faces. Sorry, that's actually my problem. Not far away, something else caught my attention. On the map, it shows that there is something called Amphitheater of the Three Gauls nearby. Could it be?
Yeah, I'm in a newer part of Lyon, but there's still a Roman era amphitheater behind me. Although this one is not touristy though. Actually, it's closed, so we can just view it from outside.
As the historic capital of the Gaul region during the Roman era, Lyon, once known as Lugdunum, remains a major cultural center in France today. The amphitheater was built as a commemoration of the Gauls' allegiance to the Roman Empire. The Gauls were Celtic inhabitants native to the area of modern-day France, and later were conquered by Rome under the command of Julius Caesar. Our exploration of Lyon continues as we cross the Rhône River to a huge public park. Before we're going to the park, a building next to it first drew my attention.
Yeah, so the building behind me, that's the headquarters of the International Police, also known as Interpol. Yeah, funny story is that a long time ago, I actually applied for an internship opportunity with Interpol here in Lyon. And they were offering interns about 500 euros a month. And you have to be in Lyon. I knew like 500 euros, that's not a lot of money, but it would be a very rewarding experience. But anyways, eventually I did not get the opportunity. But hey, today I'm right here looking at a place that once upon a time I had no luck getting into.
Despite the fact that I didn't get the job, at least this time I get to feel like what my lunch breaks would be like.
Yeah, this is a very peaceful park. And just feel like I'm surrounded by nature again. I feel like this is more like, a park in Canada. I mean, this is my type of park. The parks in Paris are way too crowded and you just can't relax. But in this park here in Lyon, it's somewhere that I can finally just relax and enjoy the wonderful view. There's even a lake right here.
There is an island in the middle of the lake that has a memorial dedicated to French soldiers who died in World War I. It's accessible by an underwater tunnel from the shore. However, the tunnel was closed on the day of my visit. But I got to make 2 new friends. Bonjour. After a relaxing stroll in the park, I was planning to check out La Croix-Rousse neighborhood. However, the Metro C line encountered some issues, so I just viewed it en route on my way back to the modern city center of Lyon. Still pretty impressive. Well, at least I know what to do next time when I'm in town. Lyon's contemporary city center, like the capital city Paris, is full of Haussmann-style architecture. But the layout resembles more of other European cities that put emphasis on city squares rather than city boulevards.
Yeah, so there's the impressive building in the background. This is the City Hall of Lyon. And of course there's a huge fountain over there. Wow, I don't think I've seen a fountain like this in Paris.
Actually, there are only a handful of places in the world where you can see statues like this, designed by Frédéric Bartholdi. I've only seen one other Bartholdi's work, and that is the Statue of Liberty in New York City. After a quick lunch at McDonald's, I took a bus to the other side of the Rhône River, where I could have a better view of the modern city center of Lyon.
Yeah, let's not forget that Lyon's not just those nice medieval and Haussmann style buildings. Many residents, they live in those kind of Eastern Bloc / communist style buildings too. To say, wow, this is such a cool city. Yeah, funny thing is, when I was taking the bus, there was a guy who apparently didn't purchase a ticket. Actually, I realized that lots of people in Lyon don't purchase bus or metro tickets. And you can also find a lot of ticket inspectors around pretty much everywhere. And the funny thing is that the guy thought I was one of them too, but I was just getting off the bus. And then afterwards, he realized, oh, I'm just a tourist. And then he asked me where I'm from. And before I could answer, he said, oh, are you from Taiwan or something? Yeah, whatever. I've never even been to Taiwan. Maybe that's gonna be one of our future destinations. So stay tuned. Sayu Rinpoche in Taiwan. Oh yeah!
Just like La Basilique Notre-Dame de Fourvière, you probably won't miss the main landmark of Lyon's modern city center, Hôtel Dieu de Lyon. Believe it or not, this giant, elegant building served as a hospital for nearly 600 years, from the mid-15th century to 2010. View it up close, I once again crossed the Rhône River. However, the other side of the building integrated so much with the cityscape. It took me a while to find where to enter the complex. I even checked into a Gothic cathedral nearby, thinking that it was a part of the massive then hospital building. But the style doesn't add up. The building kinda looked more Baroque from the outside. But this church is in Gothic style. And then I found the chapel. This time, it was actually a part of the massive building I was looking for.
Outside of the church.
Like most of the hospitals from that era, they were run by the church. One of the few remaining original structures of the hospital is the chapel. What about the rest of the structure today? Well, let's find out together. Some of the old hospital's features, like the courtyards and the plaques where the names of past donors and supporters of the hospital are still there.
I guess this is like a taboo as well.
Nowadays, Hôtel Dieu de Lyon is more of a commercial complex that features a culinary institute, a luxury hotel with a Michelin-rated restaurant, and a shopping center. I can't help but wonder, what if this complex is still a hospital today? I think it will still be a very impressive thing to see, but the building will probably need an extreme makeover to fit the needs of modern medicine and healthcare systems. Nonetheless, it's gonna be different from what it used to be. I've checked out the sites the owner of the hotel I'm staying at recommended. I started to make my way back to the hotel, take a rest, and get ready for more actions later that evening. The hotel is very close to Place Bellecour, one of the largest city squares in Europe, and a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Lyon is like a glass of good wine. It is simple, but best experienced when taking it slow. To be honest, Lyon doesn't really have a lot to see, so no need to rush the itinerary if visiting Lyon is part of your plan. But everything that is worth seeing there will guarantee you a very good time.
There we go. Night tour of the Roman Coliseum with Sayu Rinpoche. Yeah, this time we're gonna discover the previously unseen corners of this ancient structure. Oh, for example, here. There we go. Nice corners. This is how you become one with the history. But I gotta watch my steps though, because history won't absolve me if I'm not careful.
It turns out that I wasn't the only one there. There were a few others enjoying the time after dark at the Amphitheater. I still had some time before my reservation at another bouchon I booked for dinner. Let's check out the other places nearby.
Let's not forget the beautiful night view of the Basilica.
And of course, let's not forget about this, the panoramic view of the city. This time, it's the night view.
I have another reservation at a different Bouchon for tonight, and before my time has come up, I'm just gonna hang out here for a bit. Yeah, once it's 7 o'clock, I'll go there. Yeah, hopefully it's gonna be the right amount this time, not like one meal that will last you at least 3. I'm hungry, but I'm not quite hungry. Yeah, well, all thanks to the all-meat feast last night.
You heard that right. The last meal I had was nearly 24 hours ago, at the Bouchons where Anthony Bourdain went. This Bouchon, Comptoir Champagne et Fil, I would say, at least is not as salty as the previous one. The portion is reasonable for big dinner. The saladier lyonnais is delicious. The dessert of the day was also above expectation. The main course? Cooked tongue of a calf. I admit I should have ordered something else. Hey, at least the house wine was pretty good. One of my favorite things while I was in France was taking a stroll after dinner back to my hotel. It was the perfect way to end the day, and this time, it's also the perfect way to end our adventure in Lyon. The next day, I made a day trip from Lyon to Geneva, Switzerland. But that will be a different story at a different time. About our next destination in France. Every single French person I spoke to before my trip, except my dear roomie Aurélie, told me that I should not go, either because it's not, and I quote, the best representation of France, or it's simply too dangerous. What? So what's gonna happen next? Follow me to the next episode.
Well, they thought it wasn't the best representation of France.
You speak English? You are.
Well, you're wrong.